Go music. There, you're on camera, Biscuit. You know the Corgi music. He's like, I'm still a little afraid of the flute. Losing my Corgi. Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan, he's a Corgi, and this is a Conversations with a Corgi episode, and this is probably the latest one I've ever done. I think it's like 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, and I am at the Tellington T-Touch training for dogs here in Rockville, Maryland. Come back, Corgi. And I'm here with my roommate, Kelly Livingston, because today we had a little conversation in our group about something I think you guys should know about, which is something called an ORTHOPET. And I'll let her tell you a little bit about her experience with this product. She had a dog who had a knee problem, a stifle problem. It was a complete tear, or so she thought, and she got this product. So tell us what ORTHOPET is.
ORTHOPET is a brace that is made specifically for the dog.
What do you want?
You take a mold of the dog's leg, and then they make the brace to fit. And they actually had to make an extra piece for my dog so that it would stay on, and they knew this from the mold that was sent in. We used it because she already had arthritis, and she had this knee injury, and the surgery, I was told, would cause more arthritis eventually, and also increase the chances of her other leg going out. So we used the brace to keep her knee stabilized until it could have enough scar tissue around it to hold it in place, basically. That's what it does.
So the alternative, if your dog has a tear in the ACL or the MCL, is surgery, which costs about, depending on where you live, it used to be $1,000. In my area, it's $2,500 now, and we heard today some people are paying as much as $7,000.
Yes.
Did you have a quote on a price for your surgery?
I think it was like $5,000.
Yeah, and then you got to do the other leg, so that's a $10,000 dog when you're done, which of course all of us would pay anything to keep our dogs happy and healthy. But you know, we also want to look at some other alternative techniques, and so this ORTHOPET thing is how much?
It was $800.
So it's a lot cheaper, and honestly, when you're paying that much for surgery, you can still do surgery after you try the ORTHOPET if you want. My Corgi's very squirmy tonight. Bisky, what's wrong? He says there's not enough Corgi. So how do you find out about ORTHOPET if you have a dog with an ACL tear and you want to look into it?
I believe their website is orthopets.com. I'm not sure if it has a S on the end of it or if it's just ORTHOPET.com. My vet told me about it, so I checked it out, and it seemed like I checked some other braces out, but none of them were custom made, and that's what we wanted to really stabilize the knee joint. And so it allowed her to run and swim and do the things that she would have not been able to do until that scar tissue.
What's the brace like? Is it plastic so they can get it wet?
It's plastic, and then it has 6 or 7 heavy Velcro straps across the front, and or some of them are across the back. But yes, it's heavy plastic. It's very rigid.
Yeah, I've seen them. And so tell me, how did you find somebody to fit it for your dog? Is there a special person that does it? Do you mail in measurements? How do you get it to fit your dog?
I believe the company can send you a kit, and you can do it yourself if you feel confident that you can keep your dog still long enough to do the mold, which I did not, and my dog needed to be sedated to do that, and so
oh boy.
In order to keep her still, and so I had to take her I just called until I found someone, but I ended up with a rehabilitation vet that does they do underwater treadmill and things like that, and so they were equipped to be able to do it.
And you might even be able to find an OT. OTs, occupational therapists, make hand splints and braces for people all the time. And so you might find somebody with that skill that might be able to help you work with a vet to try to fit this for your dog, because the fit's pretty important, right? You don't want it to not be the right fit.
Yes, so the knee needs to be where that cannot move at all, or it will just...
So it basically just holds the patella in the groove so it can't slide around. And how long did your dog have to wear it?
She wore it. Now I only put it on her when we were going to exercise, so she didn't wear it around the house or anything like that. It's just I didn't want her to lose all of her muscle tone and that kind of thing. And so we used it for probably about a year, off and on. And it just the way I knew to stop using it was it seemed like it was a hindrance at some point. You know, it just seemed like when we took it off. The rest of her was sore. It's like it started making her walk differently after a while.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mean it caused that. It's just she had healed enough where she could use it normally.
Right,
and
where she walked better normally than in the splint.
Right.
Right. And how is she now? How did it work for you, do you think?
She's good. I mean, she still has the arthritis, so she still has those problems, but I don't believe she has problems with the knee anymore.
Does she have any pain that you know of related to the knee?
We don't think so. We think any pain that she has is in her hip and the arthritis in her hip.
Right. So that's a good alternative for people to look into. I know someone else in the class had a French Bulldog that they knew that they were trying this with, and because of the anatomy of the French Bulldog and the roly-poliness and the roundness of their bones, actually, you've heard me talk about how Corgi bones, because they're a dwarf breed, look like Fred Flintstone x-rays, like some kid drew a bone. They're not, very slender and long like a lot of dogs' bones. So it's sometimes hard to get the brace to fit some of those breeds that are shorter. And of course, lots of those small breeds like Jack Russells and Cavaliers and French Bulldogs and some Corgis and Chihuahuas, a lot of the dogs with the subluxing patellas, it might be a little harder to fit this, but I do think it is worth exploring for people, and certainly look into it before you go spend $1 million for your ACL repair. Are you pretty happy with the product? Would you use it again?
I am, and I would use it again. And I should also say that this was for a big dog, and I was told by the vet that because she was such a big dog, she throws her weight around a lot more, and that was more of the reason to have the surgery. But for me, the fact that she already had arthritis and the surgery, there's a lot of evidence that says that it causes more arthritis later. I just didn't want to put her through that, so...
Yeah, surgery is always a crapshoot, no matter what kind of surgery it is for humans or dogs. It can work. I know as a PT and back rehab, we talk about surgery being the last option when you've tried other stuff and it hasn't worked, because, you can't really undo surgery. You can stop going to PT, stop doing those exercises, change this, change that. But surgery, once you do it, you've had surgery. So the same with your dog. And then the other important thing I wanted you guys to understand about what Kelly did with her dog is that she made this choice even though many vets told her they thought it was a bad idea. So what made you decide to do it even though some vets thought you should just get the surgery?
I made the appointment for the surgery, and 4 days before the surgery I canceled it because it wasn't resonating with me. It didn't feel right. I wasn't ready to do it. When I called to cancel, they were not pleasant.
No.
And so I didn't have a good feeling about it. The thing I would do differently is I would still do the same thing, but the thing I would do differently is get her in some underwater treadmill and some rehab along with it because we still wanted, basically we had the brace so that she could do some normal things, but it wasn't as much as we would have liked for her to do. So I think that would have helped to keep the hips moving and to help with the arthritis if we had been able to do something like that.
Well, with a younger dog, you could have definitely exercised her harder than a dog that's
And she
older.
was 3 at the time.
3 at the time. Oh, so you could have done more.
Right.
So it's worth exploring if you have a dog with an ACL problem. And I just have to say hi to the people that are joining us. I can hardly see, but I think Danny and a few other people are watching. And by the way, Wendy, when you see this woman lives right near you in North Carolina. Wendy's the friend I have in Fleetwood. She's in Boone. So you guys will have to hook up and do some dog stuff together. So remember to listen to what your dog tells you. For Kelly, her dog was clearly conveying to her that she was not interested in surgery, and that, you know, of course our dogs will do whatever we ask them to, but Kelly wasn't getting the feeling from her dog that this was the right choice for her, and her dog had a good outcome with an orthopet, as did 2 or 3 other people in the room. So check it out. And I will try to do a Facebook Live from the class tomorrow, and I think Linda would like to join us a few times here over the next 5 days. So it's an exciting time here in Rockville, Maryland at the Tellington T-Touch class for dogs. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we will be back tomorrow for Conversations with a Corgi sometime. Bye-bye. Everybody have a great evening.